Well, I think there are three obvious options. And before the year, I said I thought the Packers should trade for him. So I think maybe the audience thinks that Green Bay would still be at the top of that list. But the reason I advocated for the Packers to trade for him was partially because I think it'd be great for Odell, but partially because I thought the Packers were wanting to repair the relationship with Aaron Rodgers. I do wonder if that relationship at this point is beyond repair, which makes it slightly less attractive for Odell. And here's why, Greg. I don't think where Odell goes next has to be where he plays next season. But I think ideally it would be that Odell is going to go somewhere, it's going to work, he's going to get on the same page with a quarterback, a coordinator, a coach, and then he can sign a longer-term contract this offseason. If you're Odell, there are massive questions about who is going to be the quarterback in Green Bay next year. And Green Bay is not attractive at all if Jordan Love's the quarterback and Aaron Rodgers isn't. There also is, and nobody has mentioned this, Greg, there is this factor that has to be acknowledged. Wherever Odell goes, that team technically would be able to franchise tag him after the season. And therefore, he wouldn't, like, if Aaron leaves, if Devontae leaves, if Odell plays great, maybe the Packers would be like, hey, we need Jordan Love to have best chance to succeed. And then Odell is in the same position he's found himself in previously, which is like, you got to be kidding me. I want to be with the top flight quarterback. So I think it's a little more risky than it would have otherwise been. But I think Green Bay makes a ton of sense. I think Seattle makes a lot of sense because of Russ. And I think the Chiefs, who are as pass-heavy as any team in the league and don't have a number 2 receiver, they're trying to make the McCole Hardman thing work. It simply has never worked. I think the Chiefs make a ton of sense as well. I've advocated for Kansas City. If Seattle was in a better playoff position, I would advocate for them secondarily. And third would be Rodgers and the Packers, with the caveat of I'd be concerned that it would be a 9-game plus the playoffs thing, or 8 games, and then he would be looking for a new home once again.
Yeah, all of what you said is very true. I think Odell, and I agree with him, he wants to go to the Packers. And the reason why it would be a great fit, in my opinion, regardless of Aaron Rodgers' status moving forward, is because I believe where Odell is right now, this is a one-stop shop. Wherever he ends up, it could potentially turn into more, as you alluded to very eloquently. But right now, this is a one-stop shop for him for the duration of this season to get back on track and then find himself into a potentially long-term deal based on how he plays. He understands that he needs a quarterback that can do it all. What do I mean by that? That can throw the ball on time within the pocket, but even more importantly, that can extend the play and can still be accurate with the eyes down the field that he's been so accustomed to, regardless of how we've all felt about Eli Manning. Eli Manning was a very good quarterback for Odell Beckham and what he does very well. He is the one of the few, and this is going to sound a little different because I don't know if people understand this, he's the one of the few off-script wide receivers in the league that's his game. That's how right. He thrives. Meaning, when the play breaks down, he's going to get open and he's going to burst on the scene with some crazy, spectacular play because he finds a way to separate and make that big play. On script, on timing, Odell has never really been heralded as one of the best route runners in the game. And that's what the struggle, I believe, was all along in Cleveland. And then the inaccuracy sometimes when Baker Mayfield got outside the pocket. That's why it didn't work with Baker. Correct.
Exactly right.
Now, the other two options that he mentioned, Wilds, the Chiefs would be a great option because of the same type of quarterback, the Russell Wilsons of the league. But there is a team, and I know this may be like, what? Why would they do that?
Come on, buddy.
The Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals have gone all in. And A.J. Green has not really shown anything. Now, he signed the 1 year, 6 guaranteed. But they're not going to be signing Odell for a whole lot this year. Who knows? They've gone all in.
Dinged up.
DeAndre's a little dinged up, and they got a quarterback that can play very well off script.
Okay, so that's interesting. Here's my main issue, Greg, and tell me if I'm wrong because I recognize that this take has a heavy dollop of Patriots homerism in it. We think Odell wants to win, right? We think Odell wants to be coached with like a great coach. Can you name a better team in the league that doesn't have a number one wide receiver than the Patriots? Every other pitch, if I'm Odell that I'm listening to, all right, Seattle, well, you have a guy. All right, Arizona, you have somebody. Green Bay, you have somebody. Kansas City, you have somebody. I'm a number one guy. So why am I signing up to be the number two guy, and some points maybe the number three guy, when I can go to New England, I can follow the Randy Moss model, and be the number one guy? So if I was Bill Belichick, here's what I would say. We did it for Randy. We did it for you. If we can show their stats real quick, Nick showed this last week. The stats are shockingly similar. And like, oh, but Wilds, you're just being you're a Patriots fan, of course. Well, you know who else thinks it's a good comparison? Randy Moss himself. Here's what Randy Moss said after the Monday night game. Everyone's saying, oh, very similar. Feels like my career when I was leaving. And granted, Randy did put a large kind of feeling that he was like, well, it might be Las Vegas too. But I don't understand why the Patriots aren't getting more consideration, considering he would be the number one guy there, Greg.
Well, I'll answer that very bluntly. The reason why they're not getting a lot of consideration, did you just not listen to Nick's quarterbacks? Did you not listen to my quarterbacks? And then you go to Mac Jones. I'm not knocking Mac Jones, but Odell is not interested in rekindling or starting another phase with a young quarterback that is unproven. Now, Mac Jones has done a tremendous job been accurate, but they don't thrive off script. He doesn't get outside the pocket. He is very similar to Tom Brady, but he's not Tom Brady.
All right.
When we talk about mechanics and how he is a technician of the pocket, that's not where Odell Beckham thrives. It could work. I'm not saying it could not work, but it's not intriguing. It's not enticing for a receiver of Odell Beckham's liking, Nick.
Okay, and the Randy Moss thing, you're right. I've brought it up, but not because of the connection to the Patriots, because of the career arc, which is amazing in his first stop, wildly disappointing in his second stop, and then amazing again in his third stop when he paired up with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Odell, and to answer your question, by the way, Wilds, make the argument for New England that you can't make the exact same argument, except it's better in every facet, for Baltimore. Run-heavy teams that need a number one wide receiver, check. Excellent coach, check. Championship culture, check. Far, far better quarterback, check, to Baltimore. Odell is not going. I would be absolutely shocked if he signs up to play with mediocrity at the quarterback position, which even if you think Mac Jones one day will be great, right now he's mediocre. He's a rookie quarterback, and mediocre's better than a lot of the rookie quarterbacks have been. That's not a shot. It's just what he is. And it should be noted on the Moss thing. Moss, his first year with New England Wilds, you'll remember this well, it's the greatest or the second greatest wide receiver season ever. His second year with New England, he was okay. He had 1,000 yards. Why? Well, he was still with New England. He was still with Belichick. Oh, that's right. Matt Castle was the quarterback, so his production was limited because Brady blew out his knee. So it's not just like going to New England makes you great. It's the pair with the quarterback. I'm going to add one last thing. There is one place that if Odell goes, I will be incredibly disappointed. And it's the place that sneakily I think he might end up going. And that's New Orleans. New Orleans needs a receiver. They're in the playoff hunt. He's from there. There's all the reasoning to go there. But he then, Jenna, would be signing up to once again play with worse than mediocrity at quarterback. It would be for the rest of this year, Trevor Siemian / Taysom Hill, and then next year, I guess, Jameis. And I'm not trying to take shots at Jameis, but we'll see. Jameis coming off a bad knee injury. I understand why it fits. They need him with Michael Thomas gone. They're in the playoff race. But I would not, to me, that would not be the best thing at all for his career, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.